Hello, everyone. My name is Bhavya Gagda, and today I'll be talking about SpaceX's Starship. First of all, I'll be talking about Inspiration 4, which was the first ever all-civilian spaceflight mission to orbit Earth for 3 days. As we get it from the name, there were 4 civilians on this flight to the outer space. They conducted a bunch of research with the space and how human health interacted with how they did in space. And they would bring back all different materials they gathered from outer space back to Earth. And it was the first successful flight. They came back about 2 days ago, and we will wait for the results they brought back. Secondly, this space flight will enable us to conduct more research about life in space, because now that it's happened once, everyone would want to do it. There'll be more civilians willing to go out there and see what's out there for us. And this mission was based on inspiring humanity, with the 4 people that went up to the outer space. Each one of them represented a key point in life that everyone would be inspired by. And there's a documentary on this on Netflix that I would recommend everyone to watch. It did inspire me as a person. And also, this mission was based on raising money for a children's hospital, where the hospital takes care of children with cancer. All right, so the first prototype SN15 of the Starship was made, and it was the most consistent prototype to launch and land safely. And why they made a spaceship so that it could launch and land back on Earth safely was so that they could reuse this machine. In the past, we've seen NASA launch a bunch of spaceships to space, and it was like a use and throw machine. It's more than $500 million just to launch a machine to space, and just to use it and throw it away doesn't make sense. And SpaceX made a Starship that could safely be launched and landed back on Earth without any drastic damages. The spaceship SN15 could also withhold 100 metric tons of payload, which means that they could have a payload of a massive amount, and they could just take different materials or payloads from Earth to anywhere in space, Mars or the Moon, or even bring back stuff from other planets. And because of the prototype SN15 being reusable, this means that we wouldn't have to add a bunch of resources just to make the same machine do this over and over again, rather have the same machine do it over and over again and leave those resources so that we could use them in other research areas. The benefits we get of SN15 being reusable is that it massively cuts down on launch costs. It takes a lot of money just to launch a rocket into space. And for it to be reusable, that means that we wouldn't have to waste so much money creating the same machine again. And so being able to reuse this machine would massively cut down on costs. Secondly, since we have this cut down on our costs, we could frequently fly to space more often with different areas of research points that we would want to conduct in space. Thirdly, since we could do this more often with lower costs, we could carry out a bunch of different things that we could do in space. Firstly, being cleaning out space debris that's already up there, and also recover satellites that are not functioning well, or even fixing space stations or dead satellites. We could do that too, just by launching this rocket that we have into space, bring it back, keep doing it again as long as we need. Lastly, we could carry out various uncrewed space missions to Mars or to the moon or to wherever we want in space. And the main mission for SpaceX or any other aerospace industry is to create this multi-planetary civilization, because we all know at this point that it's not possible that we'll survive on Earth for the longest time. And this really does help us to make those changes. In conclusion, the first successful all-civilian space mission will not just inspire us as humans, but will enhance the space and human health science that we could do in space. Secondly, the economic and the environmental benefits that come with this is way more than we've seen before, because we wouldn't have to waste so much money, so many resources into building the same thing over and over again, instead of just having to use the same machine and not waste those products that we have. We could instead use those resources into different areas of research on Earth and have other benefits that come from there. Thirdly, we could boost space research. We could have multiple missions going to space, and we could do this more often, like I said, because we would lower costs massively, lower the resources that we need to use massively. So this would help us boost space research. It would also help us clean up, like I said, all the debris that's out there, all the clustering that's out there, and all the satellites that we have just flying around. We could fix everything, bring them back on Earth if we have to, or just fix them up there if we have to. Planetary exploration for creating a multi-planetary civilization. We could do this faster now, since we can have this one spaceship take a bunch of stuff to Mars to help us create a civilization there on Mars, maybe create a space station there first and see how that goes. And lastly, we are having a lot of issues with our climate. Hence, this machine or this spaceship could take us out there and build a different bunch of space stations out there outside of space to monitor our climate and to even help us fix these climate issues that we have. And you could let us know when a tsunami is about to come or a hurricane, or it could give us this warnings before any of that major real life things happen. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please do use the comment section down below, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Thank you.